Welcome to Hippie Fari Weekly RootsCast. Hippie Fari Reggae Radio. I'm your host, Scotty the High-Strung Hippie, and join me on this conscious journey through reggae music. So do me a favor, if you're listening live, head over, hit that subscribe button on YouTube. And if you're listening to a recording, pause, hit that subscribe button, then come back on. It truly helps us. You're supporting an underground roots reggae podcast and radio show. Now, this is more than just music. It's a mission. A frequency broadcasting truth, unity, and liberation vibrations straight to your soul. Each week, we bring you the raw and the righteous, deep roots rhythms, revolutionary news, artist call-ins, and real talk straight from the source. So whether you're reasoning in the yard, burning incense in the morning, or rolling through Babylon with the windows down, this is your soundtrack for awakening. So turn it up, tune in, and overstand. The revolution will not be televised, but it will be RootsCast. Now, this episode is sponsored by Island Rhythm. It's island reggae-inspired clothing, art, and coffee. It is veteran-owned and operated. Visit theislandrhythm.com and check them out on all social media platforms. Island Rhythm. So on tonight's episode, we have Z-Ion on the show talking about his latest Creation Walker Productions release by Mazio Don titled Knowledge. We're also going to talk to a friend of the podcast and radio show who also happens to be the host of his own podcast. I'm not going to say the name right yet, but it's definitely worth sticking around for. Also on our Irie Inc. segment, where we feature revolutionary media, books, documentaries, stuff like that. This week, we definitely have an incredible book to discuss. And on our Fire from the Wire segment, it's our revolutionary news segment, we're presenting an epic documentary that was released in 2024, but it's definitely worth discussing. So thank you so much for tuning in. We definitely appreciate it. All right. So now we're going to get the show started off right. This is what a track from a band who just did a podcast with us. I just released it yesterday. Absolutely fantastic band. Been a big fan for a long time. This is Love You More by Giant Panda Gorilla Dub Squad. Check it out.
And you're by my side in the evening time. Ooh, under the moonlight. Ooh, I'm gonna love you more. Ooh, I'm gonna love you more. Ooh, I'm gonna love you more. Ooh, I'm gonna love you more.
Nice. That was Love You More. Giant Panda Gorilla Dub Squad. Absolutely fantastic track. Head over to Hippie Fari Reggae Radio on podcast on any streaming platform and on YouTube. You can check out the audio on all your streaming platforms like Apple, Spotify, all that stuff. And you can check out the official video on YouTube, Hippie Fari Reggae Radio on podcast, Giant Panda Gorilla Dub Squad, episode 27. It's fantastic. About an hour long. Get some really good insight on the band. It's pretty funny. Really good stuff, so definitely check it out. So we're going to hit up our good buddy Z Ion. He owns Creation Walker Productions. Just had a new release come out. We're going to give him a shout. We're going to talk about it real quick. We're going to play that track, and we're going to see what he's up to.
Hey, what's up, bro?
Z-Ion.
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing, man? This is Scotty calling from Hippie Fari Reggae Radio. How you doing, man?
Hey, doing nice. Great to hear from you, man.
Awesome, man. It's great to have you back on the show once again. We definitely appreciate it. We know you're up to some big things with Creation Walker Productions, and I know you just had a new release come out.
Yes.
Yeah, man. Why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about that release, tell us about the artist, and all that fun stuff, and then we'll go ahead and play the track for everybody.
Oh, thank you so much for having me on the podcast again.
100%, bud.
If you guys haven't already checked out, make sure you check out Creation Walker Productions on YouTube and Instagram. We just released a track called Knowledge
Nice.
by Mazadon out of Spanish Town, Jamaica.
Nice.
So if you haven't heard of it, make sure you go on YouTube and check out Mazadon's brand new music video for Knowledge. It's an honor to work alongside such a talented artist coming up. So, you know, he does a lot of great work with Creation Walker Productions, and I'm honored to promote this song with him. So if you guys haven't already, make sure to check us out on Instagram also, you know, Creation Walker Productions and Mazadon on Instagram. So
absolutely,
yes.
folks. And that is Creation Walker. Yes, it's Z-Ion's production outfit. It's really awesome. He's got some really cool stuff coming out. He's got a lot of music coming out, which is awesome. On top of his solo stuff and the stuff that he does in a band, he's producing music too. So this is one busy dude, man.
Thank you so much for the support. You know, it takes a whole team to forward the mission. So it's an honor to work alongside Drifting Roots and Mazadon, Makaru, Ross Nelson.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. Shout out to all those fellas, man. Well, we're gonna go ahead and play that track, Knowledge, the one that you were just talking about, and let the people hear it real quick. All right.
Yeah, give them knowledge.
Perfect. All right, man. This is Knowledge.
Them can't damage I. Them can't damage I. Just chew me heart clean. That's why we can't dead. Give thanks and praise to the knowledge. Could you be them one damage? You know see me like chosen, me heart clean. That's why me can't dead. Give thanks and praise to the knowledge. Couldn't be them one damage. You know see me like Joe. You right. Jah guide me, control me. He ma guide the road where they before me. They ma try deny me, I'm a glory. Them no want the house, the 5-story reach. Turn the people round me, try clone me. From me come in for the gain, I'm a notice. And if you mention 5, me know about this. Them a wash over my do me a clean. That's why me can't dead. Give thanks and praise to the knowledge. Couldn't be them one damage. You know see me life chosen, me heart clean. That's why me can't dead. Give thanks and praise to the knowledge. Couldn't be them one damage. You know see me life chosen. Because me never have it easy. My life is like the ocean. Rough in the ghetto when them think you know important. Neglected by society, but now me pre my own plan. Rally to myself and keep back and write more song, yeah. Me have to change my life, but can't change people. Man, I one of a kind in my whole circle. Top of the line like some top vehicle. Them want to see me die, me not clean. That's why me can't dare. Give thanks and praise to the knowledge. Couldn't be them one damage. You know see me life chosen, me heart clean. That's why me can't dare. Give thanks and praise to the knowledge. Couldn't be them one damage. You know see me life chosen, me heart clean.
Nice, man. Right on. That was Knowledge. Can you go ahead and tell us a little bit about that track?
Hey, Knowledge. Hey, thank you guys so much for checking out the track. So it all started when I was promoting the brand new project I'm working on called Reggae to the World. It's a rhythm album. If you haven't already checked it out, we dropped the first song with Turbulence and Makaru called Cut Off the Serpent Neck.
Yes,
The music video is also on YouTube, so you can go check that out. Subscribe to the YouTube on Creation Walker Productions. You know how it goes. So anyway, I was promoting that, and Mazadon reached out to me. He was like, hey, man, I really want to work with you. And I was honest. I was like, hey, I'm really, really busy. I don't really have the time right now to take on any new projects. And he was persistent. So I was like, you know what, bro, I'll give you a chance. And I sent him one beat. And I was like, bro, if you could do a song on this that I like, we could start working together. So I sent him the beat for Knowledge, and he sent me that track back, and I was like, bro, I really like this one.
Yes.
This is a great start. So I sent him a couple more tracks, and then we are in the process of making the Knowledge EP. So that is the title track of the EP. So we wanted to have a flagship, set it off straight with a nice music video to show people who the artist is to go along with the song, because everybody likes to see who's singing the song.
100%.
Right?
Absolutely,
so,
man.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, that's absolutely incredible, man. I love how you approach everything. There's no half-assing it. You whole-ass it. I love that, man.
Yeah, bro.
That's awesome.
It gives the song a lot more weight if you can make a video for it also, because people can listen to it on Spotify, but to fully experience it, a music video is a great way to do it.
Yes, 100%. And like you said, it puts a face for the name, which is a beautiful thing. It makes it a lot more personal for people. So 100%, man. Awesome.
Absolutely.
So you want to tell us about anything you got? I know you got a ton of stuff in the pipeline coming up, man. What's going on?
Yeah, well, thank you for asking. So coming up on the 20th of this month, me and Ross Nelson are dropping the Natural Mystic album.
Beautiful.
It's been a long time coming, a whole year we've been working on this project. So if you guys listen to this, you can go on iTunes right now and pre-order the album right now.
Very
it's
nice.
Called Natural Mystic with Zion and Ross Nelson. It's been such an honor to produce this entire album. There's dub versions, there's remixes. We've got some features on it. We got Ross Idre coming from Texas. We got Fakir Amlak on the Fire remix. If you like my song Fire, the Zion track Fire, we came with a remix with Zion, Fakir Amlak, and Ross Nelson.
Nice.
So make sure to stay tuned for that. It's a whole bunch of songs. It's a whole journey, and I can't wait for you guys to experience it. So thank you guys for staying tuned for the journey.
That's fantastic. A full album on top of everything else you're doing. Absolutely incredible, man. 100%.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm so glad to get these songs out.
Yes, 100%. Well, we're definitely going to keep having you on, man. The more you keep putting out, the more I want the people to hear it, man. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your night to come on and talk to us about it. We love everything you're doing. We love Zion. We love Drifting Roots. We love Creation Walker Production. We are huge fans of everything that you do over here at Hippie Fari Reggae Radio and podcast, man. So you have our support 100%, nonstop.
You know, I feel the same way with what you do, bro. So I appreciate you. I appreciate the friendship. And yes, keep on spreading the message and the vibes.
Absolutely, my brother. Awesome, man. Well, you have an absolutely fantastic night, and I will definitely be talking to you soon, my friend.
All right, man. Thanks again for having me.
All right,
Have
brother.
A great night,
have a good night, man. Later, bud. Awesome. That was Z-Ion, owner of Creation Walker Productions, also bass player, vocalist for the band Drifting Roots, also solo artist Z-E-I-O-N. Absolutely incredible, conscious reggae music to the core, 100% fantastic individual. We love him to death over here at Hippie Fari Reggae Radio and podcast, and we will do everything we can to promote everything he puts out. So now let's hop on back to the music. This is a track from our friend Martinez, once again, somebody else who I just released a podcast with. This track was released on March 21st. It's called The Truth. The Truth Is. And it's by Martinez, and it's not the regular spelling. It's M-R-T-I-N-E-Z by Martinez. Let's see here. I'm going to find it real quick. Yeah, let's see. Martinez, The Truth Is. Here it is. All right, this is The Truth Is, Martinez.
The truth is very simple, man. The truth is very simple, man. The herbs that gone empty, so you know me run out and get that. Put on nice fresh pants and boots, hit the rude part of town, hey, where a singer man respected, them say rockin' coming. I talk to the boss, collect the herbs, and keep it moving. We hear a gunshot, this place I go red. Hear another shot and them scream that a man is dead, 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 dead. Oh, you see your bullet did not graze me. Giving thanks for the Most High done save me. Yet put I in position to sit and face this reality. To see the truth is very simple, man. Very simple. Life too short and people trust in no one. Them can't trust in a situation. The truth is very simple, man. Life too short and people trust in no one. Them can't trust in a situation. See, not every man have a good day. See, not every man get up and pray. Most sit around and watch all their dreams fade away. Oh, talking them coulda done this, them coulda done that. Well, as a matter of fact, if them have one day back, you will see choices a whole lot of change. The truth is very simple, man. Very simple, man. Life too short and people trust in no one. Them can't trust in a situation. The truth is very simple, man. Life's too short and people trust in no one. Them can't trust in a situation. Keep you cool, yeah. No, you're not to work without your tools, yeah. Let that love light shine through, yeah. No matter how the next man persecute you. We say I be keep our worker man, be humble man, respected man. Stand firm, build out a foundation to help out the next generation. They will see the truth is very simple, man. Life too short and people trust in no one. Them can't trust in a situation. The truth is very simple, man. Life's too short and people trust in no one. Them can't trust in a situation. Hey, hey,
Awesome. Very cool, man. That was The Truth Is Martinez. That's MRTINEZ, not MAR. Absolutely fantastic artist. Recorded a lot of his stuff over at Tough Gong. He's going back this month to finish up an album over in Jamaica. So a lot of good stuff coming out by him in the future. Definitely stay up on Martinez, MRTINEZ. And head over to our YouTube channel, Hippie Fari Reggae Radio Podcast, and check out the podcast that I did to Martinez. Absolutely fantastic stuff, man. So now on to our segment, Irie Inc. Each week we bring forth a publication that embraces the revolutionary spirit of reggae resistance and the Rastafari movement. And this week we're discussing Rasta and Resistance by Horace Campbell. And Rasta and Resistance is a study of the Rastafari movement and all its manifestations, from its evolution in the hills of Jamaica to its present manifestations in the streets of Birmingham and the settlement in Ethiopia. It traces the cultural, political, and spiritual sources of this movement of resistance, highlighting the quest for change among an oppressed people. This book serves to break the intellectual traditions which placed the stamp of millennialism on Rasta. This book has really good reviews stating it's a good read. It opens up new perspectives on the Rastafari movement and the central role that is played in a lot of the key movements. It's very informative, particularly in explaining the symbols, the history, and the Rastafari links to Africa. So once again, Rasta and Resistance by Horace Campbell. Definitely check it out. That's, like I said, our Irie Inc. segment. Not always going to be a book. Sometimes it might be a video. Sometimes it might be a documentary. But just any form of media that we find interesting. So thank you so much. And speaking of that, they always say, you're doing something right if you have, and I hate to use the word haters, but naysayers. Anyway, I got a message from this guy stating that I shouldn't combine anything with Fari, Rastafari, example, the name of my show and the name of my podcast, Hippie Fari, because in his words, nothing goes with Rastafari. It stands on its own. It's its own thing, and I should never, ever do that. So first and foremost, Hippie Fari is my authentic expression. And Rasta is not about uniformity. It's about liberation, overstanding, and roots identity. So blending hippie, which is a culture of peace, natural living, and freedom, with Fari, which is divine overstanding and reverence for the Most High, is a fusion of vibes that is true to me. And people forget that Rasta has always evolved, taking in elements of resistance, indigenous wisdom, Eastern mysticism, and counterculture love movements. So look at Ras Michael, Muta Baruka, and Peter Tosh. They all pulled from broad sources of inspiration. So I could just say live and let live, no partiality, truth over tradition, and freedom through love and word sound power. Now, as my beautiful wife put it perfectly, those are his problems. His ego is getting in the way. This is not his journey, therefore it's not his business. But that's definitely not the way of Rasta either. So to follow up on his comment, he said there's no such thing as a Rasta Christian or a Rasta Hindu after he insulted Hinduism. When I had mentioned meditation, he went on. So I kind of shared this with him. Ras Michael, Rasta, Ethiopian Orthodoxy, Nyabingi, mysticism, actually called himself, he merged Rastafarian with Ethiopian Orthodox Christianity and called himself a Rasta Christian. Now we also have Harrison Stafford of Grandation, Rasta and Judaism. Akabeka, Von Benjamin, one of my favorite artists in the entire world, Akabeka and Midnight. Rasta, Advaita Vedanta, esoteric teachings. Muta Baruka was Rasta with African traditional religion. Lee Scratch Perry, Rasta with cosmic psychedelia, Christianity, and some occult stuff in there. So let's see, Pablo Moses, Rasta, and then he had science and futurism, blended roots Rasta ideals with futuristic, philosophical, and scientific views. His tracks like Revolutionary Dream expand into consciousness territory. And then Capleton, Rasta, he used fire symbolism, African warrior ancestry, known for blazing fire metaphors tied to purification, truth, and reparation. And then Sizzla, Rasta, Bobo Ashanti, priesthood, Egyptology, Afrofuturism. Uses symbols and language influenced by Kermit, which is ancient Egypt. So, I stand tall. Hippie Fari is a movement of consciousness, not a costume. We're doing spiritual work on our own sound system of life. And trust me, the real ones definitely feel it. So, enough respect. Let them talk. We're trotting truthfully over here. So, that is what it is. Just kind of had to get that out there. But now we're going to throw down a couple more tunes. This is a band we're going to have the opportunity to interview in August at Reggae at the Rock. It's an awesome festival right around the corner from us. We live in Daytona Beach. This is an awesome band from South Carolina. The track is called Prayer for the Day, and the band is called Treehouse. Check it out.
You don't know so deep, one thing, just go on meditation. Music is not about perfect every time, it's about a vibe.
Step out on the balcony and I hear it in the wind when it says to me, today's another part of your destiny. So keep in mind to make some time for your blessings. Down in the life and then we hit the ground running. Never look back and never know what's coming. But there's something that's running through every one of my bones. And I know that even when I'm down I can sing it loud. Jah, thank you for the blessings of this day. Thank you for the blessings of this way and always, yeah. From my and I to the Most High. Jah, thank you for the blessings of this day. Thank you for the blessings of this way and always, yeah. From my and I to the Most High. From my and I to the Most High. To the Most High. And I feel the morning breeze. The day is calling out to me. And I smell the ocean air. And in that moment I'm aware of all the things people go through. Gratitude's a virtue, Jah will not desert you. When we are living one love. Ooh, with all the things people go through, it can never hurt you. Yeah, once we have risen above. Rhythm. Jah, thank you for the blessings of this day. Thank you for the blessings of this way and always, yeah. From my and I to the Most High. Jah, thank you for the blessings of this day. Thank you for the blessings of this way and always, yeah. From my and I to the Most High. From my and I to the Most High. Smell the ocean air. And in that moment I'm aware not desert you. Just keep on living one love. Ooh, without the things people go through, it can never hurt you. Yeah, once we have risen above. Jah, thank you for the blessings of this day. Thank you for the blessings of this way and always, yeah. From my night to the Most High, Jah, thank you for the blessings of this day. Thank you for the blessings of this way and always, yeah. From my night to the Most High, from my night to the Most High. From my night to the Most High. From my night to the Most High.
Music is not about perfect. It's about
Nice. Man, that is Prayer for the Day by Treehouse. I urge you straight up. Treehouse. They definitely have their own sound. They're out of South Carolina. Absolutely incredible. I was at a party about 3 years ago for One Love Fam Jams, this local Daytona Beach reggae promotion outfit. And the singer for Treehouse showed up with his girlfriend, sat down, started playing acoustic, and he was ripping out some of the most amazing stuff. And I walked over to his girlfriend. I said, "This is incredible." And she said, "You know the most beautiful thing about him? It's not just lyrics. This is his life. This is how he lives." And I've been conversating, back and forth with him on social media about trying to set up a podcast. And one of the most genuine, nice guys in the entire world I've ever met. So I cannot wait to get the interview with them at Reggae at the Rock in August. It's going to be an awesome podcast. I'm going to have like 5-6 bands, probably split it up into 2 podcasts. You know what I mean? I'm going to have to, but it's going to be neat. Fans, crowd interviews, all that fun stuff. So it's going to be absolutely incredible. Definitely looking forward to it. So now we're going to tap into some underground news on Fire from the Wire segment, touching on the brothers and sisters on the front lines, taking resistance to the streets. We're going to talk about a 2024 documentary titled Harder Than the Rock. And it explores the overlooked impact and influence of the UK's first reggae band, the Cimarrons, as they persevere against all odds and pursue their dream of putting up one last live performance for their audience. Now, this documentary tracks the journey from Harlesden Bus Shelter in 1967 when Jamaican teens Loxley Geesh and Franklin Dunn formed a reggae outfit. Through session work with Trojan Records, touring with legends, and their forgotten hero status. Now, basically, it captures early success, backing Jimmy Cliff, Pat Kelly, Ken Booth, and performing with Bob Marley. And Bob Marley was amazed by their rendition of Doopy Conqueror. It also shows financial exploitation. Band members were underpaid, undercredited, and the music industry struggled to market them properly. And Al Anderson was just on the podcast, and he was talking about that in depth. So it definitely was a thing. Still is. Artists, protect yourselves. Now, their story includes international tours from West Africa, Japan, Ireland, punk-era collaborations with Paul McCartney, produced cover albums for him, and they eventually disbanded. Now, it culminates in an emotional reunion, bassist Franklin Dunn and guitarist Loxley, alongside new singer Michael Ark, performing their first gig in 30 years in 2023 after drummer Maurice Ellis's death. So definitely check out Harder Than the Rock on YouTube. You can go to Reggaeville and watch it on YouTube. Actually, go to Reggaeville, look it up, and watch it from Reggaeville to support Reggaeville. YouTube gets enough fucking traffic. Go to Reggaeville, support them. And look at all the other cool shit Reggaeville has on there. You can spend a year on Reggaeville and still not see everything. All their artists and everything. It's absolutely incredible. And speaking of cool stuff, we're going to touch on a genre of reggae music. It has a particular name. that not only sometimes stirs controversy, but it describes exactly what it is. I don't know if you can, if I had like, call-ins or whatever, I would say, why don't you go ahead and, guess. But what genre of reggae has a name that you think could, I don't know, make people go, what? Well, I'm not going to tell you, but I'm actually going to call somebody who's kind of an expert on this stuff. He actually has a podcast surrounding the entire genre, and the podcast is named after that genre. And once we get him on the phone, we're going to tell you. So here we go. Let's just hope he answers.
Hey, Scotty.
Raleigh.
Hey, how we doing?
Good. What's going on, man? Folks, I have Raleigh on the phone. He is host of White Boy Reggae, a listener's experience podcast. What's going on, my friend?
Not much, man. Just kicking it over here in the southwest suburbs of Chicago. Beautiful summer day today.
What
Time in the evening with my family, barbecue and pool party.
what was the temperature today?
This is gonna sound a little strange, but it was around 85, 90. That you're probably used to a lot more warmer temperatures than that.
Yeah. It's a little bit warmer here, and the humidity, sucks. But that's nice. Like, I could deal with 85 all day long. Chicago gets really hot though too in the summer. I know that.
It does, and it's windy pretty much all year round.
Right, the windy city, right?
The windy city, yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's cool though. At least when it's hot, and you're sweating, you got that wind to kind of cool you off. So that's cool, man.
And quite honestly, reggae music sounds pretty good in the heat, not gonna lie.
Yes, 100%. I think it just kind of goes with it, but there's a lot of fantastic reggae bands that come out of like New York City and, where it's freezing cold. I think, it's cold outside. You go into a bar, they're playing reggae. I think it warms you up a little bit too,
I said this in one of my episodes that I had with Jeff of Tropic Vibration.
Nice, yeah.
Reggae band down in Phoenix, I believe.
Yep, Arizona Reggae, amen.
Yeah, and it's interesting because he said that he was from Canada, actually, I believe outside of Edmonton.
Right.
And he said that that's where his love of reggae music came to play. And I'm like, that's interesting because I remember shoveling snow in my driveway in Minnesota where I grew up, listening to Bob Marley. I think it was just the most coolest thing.
Yep. And that's the beautiful thing about reggae music is, people that aren't into it, of course they associate it with, they go on a cruise, they hear the reggae band with the steel drum on the deck, it's just associated with island life. But, I mean, it crosses every country, every state, every city, reggae is everywhere, I mean, I'm actually going to have to look into this, man. I wonder if it's big in Alaska. I don't even know. Well, anyway, that's something that I'll definitely look into.
Band's actually going to Alaska.
100%.
I recall Cashed Out, a band that you might be familiar with, making a big deal about heading on up to Alaska.
That's awesome, man. You got to warm them up. You know what I mean? Melt some of that ice up there.
You got to warm them up. Maybe get those polar bears with some, dreadlocks.
That would be Rasta bears. I love that. That would be funny, man.
Rasta bears.
That's really cool, man. So thank you for taking my call, bro. And I think it's pretty cool. When I first stumbled upon your podcast, I was like, hell yeah. You just didn't beat around the bush. You came right out and said it. It's White Boy Reggae, a listener's experience podcast. And, listening to your podcast, you play the White Boy Reggae music and you dissect it. You talk about it, which is very, very cool. Could you kind of just give us a little insight? What exactly is White Boy Reggae?
Yeah, so that's kind of what the podcast is designed to do. I don't have a good definition for it, but rather just kind of a triangulation of it.
Sure.
Predominantly, I would say American or White Boy Reggae is an American reggae scene kind of covering, but it can sprinkle in. And, even some of the more rooted artists that I've came across, not only on yours, but even times prior, that's where a lot of these, what I would say White Boy Reggae bands are going to draw influence from. Okay. So it has a lot of ground coverage. Basically any band that has given me permission to talk about their music and eventually within the episode use their music, I would call White Boy Reggae. And some of those bands have female vocalists, like Ashley LaRue Band.
Yes. I'm actually going to see them in 2 weeks at Point Break Festival. Yes.
Oh, you're going to Point Break. Oh, that's great.
I'm media. I'm actually going to be, interviewing people and bands and all that fun stuff for the podcast.
That lineup for Point Break.
Oh, dude.
It just seems to be getting better and better every single year.
That's an insane lineup this year. I'm blown away.
Jaw dropping. Like, wow, that looks amazing.
This one is like, if White Boy Reggae, made their perfect lineup, it would be this.
Yeah. Another good one, too, is it used to be Weekend at Wolfie's, but it's now High Hopes Festival happening this upcoming weekend.
Absolutely, very familiar.
There was actually a lot of bands on that lineup that I've actually featured within the episodes of the podcast.
Fantastic.
But I like to bring it back to Sublime. I like to bring it back to 311, Pepper, Slightly Stupid,
Yes.
And when I started this podcast a couple of years ago, I knew kind of what I wanted it to be, my venture into music and just kind of talking about music for anyone that wanted to listen in. And I didn't really have a name for it. So like you said, I was actually listening in on this transmission here.
Nice.
What is this, transmission number 3 I saw?
Or 4. No, I forgot to change. Darn it. Yeah, man. There you go. That's my thing, dude. I'm so ADD. I forgot to change. It's number 4, but you have to change it on Riverside, the program we use every time. So anyway, but yes. But thank you.
It's all good. No worries. But what I was saying was, it just goes, it spans a lot. So ultimately, I think what the podcast is kind of designed to do is kind of develop what this is, because I don't even have a good definition for what White Boy Reggae is.
Right.
Another, band artist that I didn't think I'd really be into until I started doing this was One Culture. They're actually playing at Point Break for the first time at 1 p.m.
Yeah, Virginia.
And you're probably familiar with One Culture because they're a lot more rooted with their sound.
Yes.
Far from, Sublime and 311, but somehow, some way, I guess I lumped them into it. So, and I actually had Kurt of One Culture, the lead singer, producer, does everything. He actually had a one-on-one interview with me.
Very nice.
That was episode 14. That was just released a few weeks ago. So I'm kind of doing what you're doing. I guess, that's why, it's awesome that we found each other, because we do have a similar mission.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's trying to expose the awesome music that can be found in American reggae.
Amen, 100%, man. And actually, I'm doing what you're doing. I came after you, so.
Yeah, well, time is relative.
Yeah, that's
you're
right.
cranking it out a lot more than I can. I got 2 young girls, a 4 and a 2-year-old. So it's really hard for me to find the time right now to dedicate.
Certainly.
But you're busy too. I don't know how you do it, man. What, you taking Adderall or something?
Yeah, and it's funny, dude. Okay, here's how it went. Gonna do a podcast. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do an episode a week and release one a week. Well, my crazy ass, I'm like, well, I need to go after as many people as I can. So, you message. Normal people would message about 5 to 10 people. I message, 50, and then everybody responds at once. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I'm doing podcasts like every other day. I'm like, oh my God. And then, I had a week off. I was like, wow, I can breathe. And next week I got 3, and next week I got 4. And I'm like, I'm going to have to figure out a system, but I also don't want to stop contacting people and then nobody answer, and then you're left with nothing. So it's,
it's interesting the way you can go about the systematic or organization of it. When I first started the podcast, I said I want to make an episode every 3 months, and it doesn't matter what I have ready to go. I'm just gonna blast through it and crank it out there and publish it. As the podcast has kind of matured a little bit, I'm still gonna try to do like a release every 3 months, but if it doesn't happen, I'm busy. I don't want it to turn into work.
I hear you.
I'm seemingly finding.
I hear you. And it did for me, and it is, because you're, every single podcast you do, obviously you have to curate questions, you have to.
Right.
I mean, I have this form that my beautiful wife made for, the podcast form for people to fill out. So you get all the information, you take all that information, you compile it, then you curate the questions, and you're back and forth with them. Are these questions okay? And then, when you do that 4 times a week, it's like, it's work. And I'm like, damn it, I need to, like you said, systematically organize. I'm an English guy, I'm not a math guy. So I don't know how to do that.
Hey, no worries. You'll figure it out, man.
I will.
Like you said, you just started this, what? I think I came across our first communication together was this year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
January?
Yep. The beginning of this year. So, I'm actually, it was really cool. But I'm definitely excited about it. About our communication, about your podcast. Love it. Think it's very cool what you're doing. Wish you would do more, but I know you have a family because it's very interesting what you do. And we also, which is really cool, have a podcast together. You're going to be on my podcast, but I mean, at the same time, you could put the same one out. I don't care. It's a joint podcast. I'm going to be asking you questions. You're going to be asking me questions. We're going to learn a lot about each other. It's really cool. I'm very excited about it.
I'm looking forward to it. I think it's scheduled for the 24th.
That's correct.
If I'm not mistaken. Yeah,
yes,
I'm looking forward to the day, man.
Me too.
I have enjoyed speaking with you so far already, and to have a nice lengthy sit down with you it's going to be good. It's going to be awe-inspiring. It's going to be soul uplifting.
Yeah, watch it last like 6 hours.
Yeah, it very well could be.
Yeah, that's funny, man. So, if you don't mind, real quick, have you experienced, because I just had, I knew you were listening, I kind of told the listeners about how I experienced some backlash because of my name. Somebody, kind of came at me, your name, they didn't think that I should, pair anything with Fari and all this kind of stuff, and I, being me, of course I had, my response to him. Has anybody said anything to you about, using the name White Boy Reggae, because it is 2025 and we do live in the world of political correctness, even though, there's nothing wrong with it. But I mean, has there been anybody that's approached you or anything about the name, or has everything just been straight up?
Yeah, there actually has been some backlash that I wasn't really expecting, and I'm kind of surprised when I received it, to be honest with you.
Right.
It was a while after I started releasing episodes that I created a social media account, because I'm just not about social media, to be honest with you. The less I spend on it, I think the better my life is.
I think that's everybody.
But it's kind of one of those things when you want to grow something in the 21st century, you kind of just have to do it.
100%.
And there was and when I first made it, underneath the description, it said, something along the line. It's my mission statement, ultimately summarized, but to promote the growth and popularity of the American reggae scene.
Sure.
That was stamped right below the profile picture.
Yep.
And I just went through kind of like what you did when you first started following everybody and everything that I knew at that time, because it was just created.
Right.
And there's a media outlet company out of West Coast, California, called Surf Roots Media. You might be familiar with it, you might not. But on the first post that I made, they took it to a point to say something along the lines of, "This does not represent the American reggae scene," and then like put an X through it. I took a screenshot of it just for proof, just for like to look back on, right? Not to smite, but just
sure.
Like, oh yeah,
exactly.
Don't forget this one moment.
Yes, of course.
But it didn't stop there. They actually went and privately messaged me and one other person that defended me defended the podcast on that post, disagreeing with them. And they went back and forth with each other. And I was just kind of sitting back saying like, wow, this other person is defending the podcast that I created, and I barely even know this person.
Right.
Which I thought was really cool.
That is cool.
But, I think Surf Roots got hung up on like how promoting the American reggae scene and calling it White Boy Reggae, where there are non-white reggae artists in America.
Right.
But I kind of see it differently in the sense that, like, I know that the music that I'm chasing here in this podcast is not roots reggae music.
Right.
It's not reggae. It's not Jamaican reggae music.
Sure.
It is more or less American. And if there's a person of Mexican descent, which there has been bands with musicians that have, Mexican, even black. musicians in their band lineup, they can either embrace it or not.
Right, sure.
I'm going to call it what it is.
Yep.
How I see it.
Yes. It's a
and
sound.
I don't know, just kind of walking away from that experience. I kind of came up with this little slogan: if you see poop on the sidewalk, you don't need to stomp in it.
Right, exactly. 100%.
You can just pass by.
Yes. Yeah. So my wife said about the guy who like went out of his way. His first question was, "Is this a joke?" And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Merging something with fire." And I was like, "No, it's my mission, not yours. If you don't like it, don't pay any attention to it, right?"
Yeah.
But
that's the thing, there's this kind of, I guess, rising sense or culture, I guess, here in America that just is very like racially charged.
Yes,
and
very much.
I just don't really understand where, why, or how come it needs to be.
Sure, it doesn't.
Why can't we just call things for how we see them and be okay with that, because that is the physical reality of what is.
Absolutely, 100%, man. And I do totally agree with you. It is what it is. There are issues, but at the end of the day, yes, like you said, calling something, it is what it is, and the racially charged or any charge, people, yes, man, so hyped up and crazy, for no reason. Somebody coming after your show, American reggae, this doesn't represent, it's like, yes, it does. You know what I mean? People,
in a way it does.
It does. And a lot of people kind of, I'm guilty of it too sometimes, but will speak or react, you know what I mean, without logically thinking about stuff, you know what I mean? If they would have talked to you and listened to a couple of your episodes and really gotten into it, they would have understood what you were talking about. You're promoting a genre in American reggae music. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've spent time with your episodes, and what I see you doing here is good.
That's awesome,
what I
man.
see
Thank
you doing here is really remarkable. What I see you doing here is motivating to me as not only just a person to continue to explore Rastafarianism and roots reggae music.
Beautiful.
I actually, from listening to your episodes, made it a point to have it a roots reggae summer. Really get into some of those roots reggae bands and really start to spend some time, because I think it's due. I think it's due. I've come to a point where I ventured down this, if you want to call it White Boy Reggae, rabbit hole, that I need to get back in touch with what pretty much all of these bands would probably say is an influence. And I'm talking about Groundation, which you had Mr. Harrison on there. And
had another one with him 2 days ago about their new album that just came out, Candle Burning. I dissected the whole album with him, man. It's good. So I can't wait to put that one out.
I'm excited to listen to that. I'm excited to listen to the music.
Yes.
I'm excited to listen to the Abyssians. I'm excited to get in touch with Steel Pulse, because many White Boy Reggae bands will say that Steel Pulse has been an inspiration on them.
Yes.
So I think it's time for me to get familiar with a lot more of that.
Yes, check out Green Sleeves Records. Augustus Pablo is absolutely one of my favorites. But something that you said, and then I'll kind of let you go, because I will talk to you. The podcast is going to be extra long, and I don't give a shit. But I feel like I could talk to you forever. But you said some of the the music's not roots reggae. I actually call it American roots. Like Tribal Seeds, for example, is me and my wife collective. Like when I say my favorite reggae band, it's my favorite. I call it American roots reggae band, because to me, Tribal Seeds is straight up roots reggae. They are an American band. They are. It's not White Boy, but it sounds exactly like, it's got, the White Boy reggae sound. But they're they're roots reggae, and I call it, American roots. But I feel like a lot of these bands, like 9 to Fire, they draw from hardcore roots influences, and they're very, rootsy. Especially there's a band out of Florida called Rootsy, ROTSEA. They're like a rhythm band, but very, very, very roots driven, very roots oriented. And yes, almost all of their influences, like mine, I late 70s, mid to late 70s, roots reggae is probably my favorite music in the entire world. I love it all. But you can hear these bands, they're pulling from that severely. So it's really neat when you, like you just said you wanted to do, when you go down that rabbit hole. I'll send you a list of probably 50 artists. But it's neat, to actually get in, and you're listening to the old stuff. A lot of it hasn't been mastered yet, or hasn't been mastered, like they'll take old records and master them, so you're listening to, the old vinyl sound. It's got that sound, and you almost feel like you were there in the recording studio. It's neat. It takes you back, you know what I mean? And you're like, wow, this is cool, the real struggle, the real rebellion. Still going on now. The message is as strong today as it was in the 60s when the first reggae records were released in Jamaica. That's a beautiful thing about reggae music. When the world is perfect, reggae can change its, mission, but I think we've got a long way to go.
Yeah,
but
I agree. I think some of these American reggae musicians are actually tapping into more of the nature. And I think actually that episode with Groundation, I think you guys touched on this, about how a lot of the more popular reggae music today is kind of losing some of that rooted sense.
It is. Yes, 100%. Yeah, and I talked about that with Cultivated Mind too. But, a lot of, could be fear of not getting booked or, a record label going, we don't want you to say that. But Groundation, their entire existence is based on not doing what a record label wanted them to do, which is why he pretty much started his own. And they blew up overseas, over in Europe and South America, but the message was heard, the long-form solos, 7-minute songs, like nobody's going to listen to that. Well, that's not true. They're going on a tour right now, and half the venues are already sold out, and these are not bars on the beach. These are 4 to 5,000 people venues. So, there's people out there. I think the UK or Europe, the UK, they're kind of still holding the torch. A lot of the beautiful roots reggae coming out of there. But, I
would agree. And I would agree that Tribal Seeds is a great representative of American reggae.
Yes.
And what American roots reggae. They really helped me, even though I've never seen a live performance, but I've listened to all their stuff.
Yes.
They really helped me through COVID, actually. Them and Fortunate Youth specifically.
Love Fortunate Youth, man.
Yeah, were really helpful to me. Not only get through that very confusing time, but also then kind of launching me into making it a hobby to listen to American reggae music, which then led into the passion about it, and then that led me into the podcast. So yeah, Tribal Seeds is actually a big inspiration on me and my venture into what I seem to be doing with most of my spare time these days.
That's so awesome. I'll tell you one thing, and I'll leave you this, man. My wife came home from work one day, and I was like, you got to listen to this. It was the song Dark Angel by Tribal Seeds, and she walks in the door. Before she even said her person, I was like, come here and listen. And it's been our song for 7 years now. That's mine and my wife's song. You know what I mean? That's like our relationship song. That's our track together. Tribal Seeds got me through a lot, man. So I can totally relate to you on that one, man. They're just, they say it right. He talks about really important stuff and, pretty girls, bro. So you can't really go wrong with that.
See, and that's where the White Boy Reggae comes out, because, there's some Tribal Seeds songs that are about, getting messed up and partying, and loving.
Rock the night away. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and they can bring it on so many levels. And I think that's where, the White Boy Reggae seems to kind of stem from, is getting into those more touchy kind of, I want to be a political activist and, be good to people and everything like that.
Right.
But, there's an edge too. I like to kick back bottles of whiskey and smoke fat blunts, know?
And I think if you base your platform on that from the beginning, kind of like Tony from Cultivated Mind said with Bill Burr, the comedian, he's based on ripping on people and saying whatever he wants to say. So his platform is solid. If you build your platform on something and then you try to say something and people are like, wait, that's not you. You might lose a fan base, but if your fan base is based on you being that way from the beginning, then, which is like Tribal Seeds, everybody, that's what you expect from Tribal Seeds. You're going to hear spirituality throughout their music constantly, nonstop, and you might, the fun will be thrown in there, but it's going to be serious a lot of the time. And that's what they built their platform on. And it's a beautiful thing. I really think so.
It is a beautiful thing because it can include so many people. so many people from so many different backgrounds, so many different kinds of thoughts, you know. That's why I really want to go see them live. I missed the chance. They came through Chicago in the fall. I had things going on. I missed the chance, but they'll be back around. I mean, they are one of the best in America. So
this will be
I'll see them soon.
This or next Sunday at Point Break will be our fifth time seeing them, I believe. But we saw them at Florida Groves Festival 2 years ago, and I don't know what was going on with the bass, but dude, when they came on and they started playing, I have never in my life, I almost started crying, bro. I'm not lying to you. It hit so hard, bro, and that bass, oh my God, I was like, this is something else, man. It was a spiritual show, you know what I'm saying? Straight up. But yeah, when they play live, you feel it. I'll leave it at that. You feel it straight up. So I can't wait for you to see Tribal Seeds and tell me about it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. The next show that I'm going to go see is Aurora Wave. Actually,
nice.
They're rolling through Chicago, and
nice.
They're newer.
Yes.
And they are a lot harder than probably a lot of the music that you tend to listen to more frequently. But hey, you say you're familiar, so you at least dabbled with them. You know?
Oh no, I'm very familiar with Aurora Wave. Yeah, I was a huge Iatera fan. Then when Nate split and started Aurora Wave. I also probably maybe 0.5% will throw on some Job for a Cowboy or Cannibal Corpse and listen to death metal. But I like it separate, you know what I mean? But I do like what, Aurora Wave is doing. I literally told my wife tonight, no lie, I was like, I want to actually see them. I know Nate, the lead singer, is an absolute wordsmith, and anything he does is incredible, but I've heard that their live performance is absolutely insane. So I do want to see that. I don't know about moshing at a reggae show, but I do definitely want to check them out. When they come through, I'm definitely going to see them. But I do miss Iatera. That was one of our.
I do too.
That was one of our. It was Tribal Seeds and Iatera. Walked a real fine line between, but they were absolutely phenomenal as well. So we definitely loved them.
So it's kind of interesting when you go back to White Boy Reggae, how I said it's kind of this triangulation, maybe an octagon relation or whatever the case may be. It has so many different little corners,
Yes.
From one culture all the way to Aurora Wave.
Yes,
But
absolutely.
You know what? I'm reaching out to these bands. I want to share their music. I want to say good things about their music. I want to share my connections with their music, and that's what the podcast is about. So if you can't get on board with that, then you know what? I'm going to move on to the next one because there's a lot more to go to,
Amen. And, to wrap that up, you said that's what the podcast is all about. That's what music's all about. Connections.
Yeah.
Sharing with people, that kind of thing. When you were in high school, every single clique was based on what kind of music they listened to. The punks, the metalheads, the country, rednecks or whatever you call it. I'm from Charleston, South Carolina. I can say that. Everybody... You associate it with who you listen. Yeah, music is life. Straight up, it is. It is what it is. It's just that's the nature of life is music. So
well, it just helps you carry an energy into every single step of the day. What you have as the background noise feeds the soul.
Yep.
The unconscious, listening is, and I'm playing. I got actually one of the reasons why I started thinking about doing the podcast initially is because I was just adding this. I was creating this playlist of just all this American reggae music, right? And it's currently at like 2,000 songs.
That's awesome.
And I'm just always playing that that in the background, always playing that to get me through work, always playing that. And, it's one of those things I could play that for a month now and not listen to the same song twice or same song twice.
Yep.
It's just grown with the podcast ultimately. So.
Yep. I love it. And you've got, all of your White Boy Reggae bands, a lot of the artists, they're stepping up like Iatera. Nick Safakis from Iatera is doing did his own solo project for a long time, which is absolutely amazing. Ian Young, who used to be in Tribal Seeds, doing his own solo project, absolutely amazing. You know what I mean? So you have one band, and you got like 4 offshoots from that one band. They're all incredible. Yeah, that's really good stuff, man. I'm definitely excited for my podcast with you. This is going to be fun.
Yeah, so we actually created the outline of it.
Yes.
I don't know if it's for me to say or for you to say, but I'm excited to. We incorporated a little live listen and then our live reactions to it.
Yes.
I'm excited for that. Because that's a lot of what I do in the podcast is play, 45 seconds of a song and then talk about what that song meant to me or a specific part or whatnot. So I'm excited to listen to music with you, man.
Oh, me too. I love doing that. My wife literally says all the time, she's like, I love listening to music with you because I'm like, did you hear that? Did you hear that? The bass or the drum beat or, a lot of things that people ignore or just don't hear, I hear that. And I point that out to people. I'm like, you hear that? That's why this song's so badass. You're like Dark Angel, for example. If you just heard it, it's just a slow song. People are like, whatever. I'm like, listen to the bass guitar. He's like, all over the place, man, riding that entire song. And it's like, you turn that bass up and listen to it. It gets pretty incredible at that point. So, that's awesome, dude. Well, I'm definitely looking forward to it, man. Thank you so much for coming on and, kind of talking about what you do and giving us a little lesson on White Boy Reggae. Thank God for us. It's here to stay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It's here to stay. No matter how much gruff I might be getting for the name or the title or what I say, at the end of the day, I'm going to say it.
You're building your platform. Yes. You're building your platform on, you're building the Bill Burr platform. You know what I mean? And the same way, that I'm doing. I'll have on who I want to have on. I'll say what I want to say. If you don't like it, don't listen. I'm not making any money off this. You're not paying my bill, so shut up if you don't like it. Pretty much.
Your complaints will go in one ear and right out the other.
That's it, man.
I guess that's a little punk rock. I think
it's
right?
very punk rock. I love punk rock, which is a lot of punk and reggae are kind of the same. They kind of tread the same waters. It's about fighting oppression, about fighting the powers that be, about uniting together as one to be able to, fight injustice and fight the system. So, it's very punk rock, and then obviously Bob Marley's Punky Reggae Party. A lot of the punks before there was punk were listening to reggae music and dub music before they were listening to punk rock. They were just outcasts, who did not like society and did not like the system. And they fit into reggae very well.
Yeah, I see it as two different fabrics that can weave very easily together.
100%.
Just because of the foundation.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, Bad Brains is a great example, but you should definitely check them out if you like punk rock, and they're absolutely incredible. But well, cool, man. I thank you so much. Like I said, I know this is going to be an interesting podcast because usually call-ins on the radio show are 5 minutes. This was 25. That's awesome, though. No, I could care less. So it's almost a podcast within the radio show. I like it.
I'm excited for the 24th, man.
Me
too.
Have
a great rest of your night. And
you as well, my friend.
Congratulations on the newborn granddaughter, right?
Yes, grandson.
Grandson.
Yes.
What's his name?
Oh, good grief, dude. You put me on the spot. Kian. Sorry. Yes. Kian.
Well, God bless him, and may he rock the rest of his life, all right?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, my friend, and I will be talking to you soon, brother.
All right, take care.
Have a good day, bud. Bye-bye. Awesome. That was absolutely fantastic, man. That is Raleigh from the White Boy Reggae, a listener's experience podcast. Do yourself a favor. Go to your favorite streaming platform. Type it in, White Boy Reggae, a listener experience podcast. He goes into the music. He dissects the music. He talks about the music. He gives you a real insight on what it's all about. Doesn't glaze over anything. When you get done listening, you're going to know what you listen to. And that's extremely important because a lot of people are full of shit. He is not. Really good person to listen to. And I'm really excited about the podcast coming up with him. It's going to be a lot of fun. The two of us together. Like I said, it might last 6 hours. I have no idea. But I give a damn. It's going to be fun anyway. So, speaking of that, now, or I would say speaking of White Boy Reggae, but the official reggae band of Hippie Fari Reggae Radio and podcast and the radio show is Cultivated Mind out of Hampton Roads, Virginia. Absolutely fantastic band. So, I'm going to play a couple of tracks that you might not have heard from Cultivated Mind. It's they have an EP. It's The Solution. It's a 3-track EP. It was released October 14th in 2016. This is kind of old school music. It's absolutely fantastic, though. This is off of The Solution EP, and this track is called My Solution. It's Cultivated Mind and Greg Gutty. Check this out.
Baby girl, feel like I need you more and more. And every time I see your pretty face, baby girl, feel like I need you more. Hey, I promise I won't leave you. If you promise me you'll stay. These feelings that I have for you, it just won't seem to go away. No, no, no. She said she loved me a long time. At the wrong time, because you brighten up my day. Oh, I can't stop loving you, girl. All the weight is lifted off my shoulders. I said I can't stop loving you, girl. I wish my time with you was never over, cause true love is so hard to find, especially when you need it, really need it. And it's a blessing, found my solution. Hey, Lord. Say, girl, you know I need you. So, baby, please don't walk away. These feelings that I have for you feel like they're here to stay. Oh, no. Love her when she go down low. Love on the first night, don't make it, you know. Wanna break down the walls like a Jericho. Just to be with you is a miracle. Every time I see your pretty face, baby girl, feel like I need you more and more. And every time I see your pretty face, baby girl, it make me want you in my arms for sure. It's been a long, long time since I had a girl. It made me feel quite like you. And every time I see your pretty face, baby girl, feel like I need you. Oh, baby, all I see is I can't stop loving you, girl. All the weight is lifted off my shoulders. Said I can't stop loving you, girl. I wish my time with you was never over, cause true love is so hard to find, especially when you need it, really need it. And it's a blessing, found my solution.
That is My Solution. Greg Gutty, Cultivated Mind. True love is hard to find, especially when you need it. Ain't that a fact? So, keep it around. If you got it, don't let it go. It's always good when reggae music kind of talks about stuff like that. Now, I'm going to play one more off of that EP. This is the serious stuff right here. This is Stand Together. Listen to this.
What kind of detention brought on by police aggression, spurred on by media attention, and they wonder why we stressing Lord.
Yeah.
Now this is the cultivated mind, alongside Mr. Greg Gutty. Come on with a message for the people, yeah? Well, brother, can you feel the tension brought on by police aggression, spurred on by media attention, and them wonder why we stressing, Lord. God, don't let the wicked ever touch me. Tell the people we have to take back our country. Distrust our government is on the rise, and we organize and centralize. Oh yeah, woman, sister, all the better. You know we're stronger if we all stand together. Division is just a Babylon mentality, designed for confusion.
Hold up real quick. Check that out. It says that Babylon mentality is created to confuse your reality. It certainly is. And if you are not familiar with what Babylon is, it's the Western system, colonial rule, everything that we live under right now. And it is. It's meant to create separation. It's meant to take away that need for community. Because if we rise up, they're fucked. And they know that.
Stick your butter and toast, stick your bio. Crips and blows on the corner, you cannot get by, yo. Police killing my people, video go viral. At the end of the day, nobody seems liable. Why can't we all just come together? We living in hell, trying to get through stormy weather. And we won't fail just as long as we obey the philosophy. But can't nobody ignore the prophecy. You know it's stronger if we all stand together. Division is just a Babylon mentality. Design to confuse your reality. Woman, sister, I'm a brother. You know it's stronger if we all stand together. Division is just a Babylon mentality. Design to confuse your reality. All in all, this name it is appalling. Every other deal, like a youth mama balling. Cause police are pull trigger without hesitation. Coming gun please and fit traffic violation. Well, brother, can you feel the tension? Caught on by police aggression. Spurred on by media attention. And they wonder why we stressing, Lord. Oh, can you feel the tension? Brought on by police aggression. Spurred on by media attention. And they wonder why we stressing, Lord. Babylon's going down, 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 my Lord. It's going down, 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 my Lord. Say we all need to come together and leave Babylon. It's going down, 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 my Lord. Woman, sister, I'm a brother. You know it's stronger if we all stand together. Division is just a Babylon mentality. Designed to confuse your reality. Woman, sister, I'm a brother. You know it's stronger if we all stand together. Division is just a Babylon mentality. Designed to confuse your reality.
Stand together, cultivate a mind. Division is a Babylon mentality to confuse your reality. Remember that 100%. That's their goal, to create division, because once again, the people united will never be defeated. And also, he mentioned police brutality gaining media attention. Check out the October 22nd Coalition to Stop Police Brutality and the Criminalization of a Generation. It's a group that I used to protest with in Atlanta, Georgia. They're still active. Just because you don't see it doesn't mean it doesn't exist, and doesn't mean it's not your problem. Might not might not affect you directly, but it is still affecting you. Because everything rolls downhill. So definitely check that out. And folks, thank you so much for tuning in to Hippie Fari Reggae Radio RootsCast. That's a wrap on this week's transmission of Hippie Fari Reggae Radio RootsCast. Please like, share, most importantly, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Hippie Fari Reggae Radio on podcast. Hit the subscribe button. It helps. It's an underground reggae podcast and radio show. Listen. Now, we've heard the voices of resistance, felt the heartbeat of the people, and stood firm in the power of truth, rhythm, and revolution. Remember, the message does not end here. The revolution is ongoing. Stay conscious, stay grounded, and never let Babylon write your story. Find us on every platform, Hippie Fari Reggae Radio and Podcast. Visit the website, hippiefari.podbean.com. On YouTube, once again, subscribe to our channel. It helps spread the word of love and resistance. Until next time, I'm Scotty the High-Strung Hippie with the beautiful Queen Kira, the Irie Empress, signing off with love, strength, and sound. One voice, one rhythm, one revolution. Keep it roots, keep it real. Now I'm going to take you out with some fire dub reggae from Scholar's Word. This is Malachi and Dub. Much love, folks.